After a few days off, we are back here on the Splash Play NBA channel, where it's an NBA slate. It's going to look like every other one for the next month, or it's going to be chaos here. Lots of Q tags, lots of guys that are up in the air. We're just going to do what we always do here. We're going to strap in and compare my projections, some of the industry leaders out there, like Stokastic and like our friends at Unabated. We're also going to see what the best bets are on Unabated. We're going to see what the best Sim DFS lineups are at Stokastic. By the end of this video, you'll know my Splash Plays for today's NBA slate, March 17th. Let's get into it here, and I appreciate the chat waiting patiently here with the mix of trolling, the mix of kind welcome backs. Nothing like a family vacation. Remind you how much you love YouTube chatters. Sure. Honestly, the family vacations, I'll say up top, it does not feel very restful. When you have a 3-year-old and also you're with your wife's family, loves to do activities every trip. They don't like going to resorts. They don't like just chilling out. They like doing stuff. And sometimes the beach trips, lugging a 100 fucking pound cart to the beach. So, and they pay for everything. So, that's the trade-off. But it is not the most restful. So we're back to work here. If I was ever done working for a little bit, appreciate all you guys being here live. And let's get into it. Hey, Jake, go fuck yourself. I don't know. I'm going to give you a 5-minute timeout. I know you're not being serious, but we have to send the message here. Had to update the data before the show. Stokastic updated their minutes 1 minute before I would have started. So it's important to me to get you got the right data here. So trolling, not accepted on that. Your Q tag tweet for the day, though. We got Nikola Jokic, Stephen Curry. God, it is too many guys. Zion Williamson, Jamal Murray, Tyrese Halliburton, Lauri Markkanen, Aaron Gordon, Miles Turner, Aaron Nesmith, Andrew Wiggins, who was not at shoot-around, did not participate, so would think that he's not going to play. Jordan Clarkson, Keontae George, Gershon Yabusele, Kelly Olynyk, Eve Missy, and Scottie Pippen Jr. So many Q tags here. Some that matter more. Scottie Pippen, if he is out and John Morant's already out, things start to get a little bit weird for that Grizzlies rotation, though. They always find bodies. Point being, there's a lot of trickle-down guys as well that are going to be benefiting based on these Q tags or failing. And for the slates tonight as well, it's really important to note. So you have a couple games at 7, I think, or just one game at 7. No, a couple games at 7:30 and 8. So that's what I was thinking of. So not a 7 o'clock start time tonight, 7:30 start time. That's the key thing, which I already knew because it changes my entire schedule around. Only one game at 7:30, Miami and New York, which has a few appealing players, but not necessarily a whole lot. 8 o'clock, there's a bunch of games. You have 3 games, the Detroit, New Orleans, Indiana, Minnesota. Indiana, we need to know the injury stuff, starting lineups and all that in advance. Philadelphia, Houston, another one that matters, though. Philadelphia, frankly, doesn't look that good at this point. Then you have 1 9 o'clock game, Chicago, Utah, and then 5 10 o'clock games. They are all on DraftKings today. So FanDuel is not playing the last game, the 10:30 one. For some reason, DraftKings is like, yeah, we're just going to do all of them. So that's what it is today. So there's a lot going on in this one you have to keep an eye on. And of course, we'll do the best we can with it throughout the course of this video if anything else changes. But let's go over to the projections here. Let me just sort them before I switch you guys over. We're going to look from the top projections that I have compared to the lowest ones here. Let's see how it goes. DK's so bad. I think FanDuel people would say FanDuel's so bad too. So we could just say they're all bad is how it goes. Went to the New Paltz area. It was fine. I don't need to go from cold place to another cold place. To me, that's also not the most relaxing vacation, but lovely house. It was nice. It's just, I could find a way to complain about anything is, from watching this show. Jazz looking to pay another $100K fine. I think they're actually looking to not pay one. And in fact, looking like they're trying to play the guys that normally they'd sit in the back-to-back. So I would think they've learned from getting the big Lauri Markkanen fine, even though their other players wouldn't qualify for some of the star roles around guys sitting out. But your top projected players on the slate, and again, they are all in play today. Nikola Jokic, $13K salary. He has a Q tag on him. If he doesn't go, he gets some value opening up. Zeke Naji start, I guess, could be in play. DeAndre Jordan start could also be in play because some of the historical times in the past when Jokic is sat. But Jokic projects well for me. I think it's still playable at a $13K salary. I got him in 32% of my top 150 lineups in the semi-round before the show. My projection is a little bit higher than Stokastic has those, so keep that in mind here. But certainly would say at a slate where people don't want to pay up for Nikola Jokic. We've seen that when running the Sims before. Stokastic does tend to think the Sims that it's a good thing to get a low-owned Jokic if people don't want to pay up all the way to get there. So let's say that for Jokic, 13K salary, pretty tough, but when you are going to see this much of the field be on Luka Doncic, that does matter. Maybe you could pay up for Jokic instead, get a little more different. If you capture one of the ceiling days for a guy like Jokic, that's how he beats out a very chalky Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic, though, at number 2, you got no LeBron today, no Rui, still, whatever. A bunch of the Lakers not available, still not available. But Luka here has been your big winner overall for the Lakers in court time without LeBron. So far for this Lakers stint for him, Luka averaging 1.7 fantasy points minute on 41% usage, 42% assist rate in court time without LeBron this year. So dominating the ball, doing what we need to see. I've been 62 fantasy points. Stokastic has him at 62.8. So think that pretty good ownership going to Luka Doncic, but I would certainly feel comfortable getting a little bit less, a little bit more Jokic, a little more Towns as well. Like Luka's a good play, but I don't know if he's a 41% play. Karl Anthony Towns, again, a player that in that first game of the slate, don't love giving up the flexibility with a 10K player right away when you have a lot of potential late swap opportunities coming up, and especially a center too. You're giving away one of those center spots. You lose some flexibility, but Towns, I think, to me, practically, if he's at 6.5% ownership, I could see getting to 10, 15 here. Obviously, the minutes look good for him at this point. The rates as well. No Jalen Brunson, averages about 1.6 fantasy points per minute. So for Towns here, he does look like an important player for me today. At least as a leverage against Luka, if nothing else. Cade Cunningham, 21% for the field, 20% for me. Not really a big stand there. Price coming down a little bit for Cade. So if you're being price sensitive, which is one of the more important things in DFS, you would maybe not play Luka Doncic or Nikola Jokic. You probably would play Cade Cunningham, who's been priced over 10K for a lot of this year, especially since Jaden Ivey's went out. So Cade Cunningham here, looking pretty good. Alperen Şengün, $9,600 salary for him, getting a rate boost today because I know Amin Thompson, court time without Thompson. So far this year, he's averaging just shy of 1.4 fantasy points a minute, and that's with pretty bad 53% true shooting for him. Usage goes up, assist rate goes up, rebound rate goes up for him as well. So he wins in every category as a result of not having Amin Thompson out there. So Şengün, to me, another player who I do often like, and it's a little bit easier to get there with this price tag being where it is when you have Amin Thompson out. And the matchup, too, going against Philadelphia, obviously nothing to be worried about. Quentin Grimes, over 22 points. I don't have this point total on the screen, but we can look at it in a moment. Do have him at 46 fantasy points today, though. So Grimes, to me, a player that I have a lot higher than Stokastic, as Larry is immediately questioning before I've had a chance to talk about it. But Grimes, a player that's still hard to play to me at an $8,100 salary. Again, in the sim that I ran before the show, Stokastic's not really giving you him lineups anyway. So as a result, you kind of don't get him in a sim. If I'm running an optimizer, I'd probably get a little more Grimes. So would say that for Quentin Grimes, he's a player that's not worth a chalky ownership by any stretch when he's priced at 8,100, but his rates go up exponentially from not having basically all the key Sixers out there. The main thing that happens to the rates overall for the Sixers when you have Embiid out, when you have Maxey out, when you have George out, then you also add on Kelly Oubre out. You see Quentin Grimes start putting up a really high usage rate. 35% usage, 25% assist rate. He's averaged 1.4 fantasy points a minute on actually 60% true shooting. So shooting well, getting the ball up a lot, basically taking about 60% of the possessions when he's on the court. The issue has only been 122 minutes, 261 possessions. So about half where the rates really start to stabilize, 550 possessions, generally the rule of thumb we have. But for teams like the Sixers, you don't have that historical precedent. So Grimes, I think, is a strong play here. We are on a back-to-back for Philadelphia, so that's a little bit of a risk point. They could limit Grimes' minutes a little bit more when he played low 30s yesterday. But Grimes just produces well enough, so I think you take the shot a little bit. Sim did not give me any, but I do think he's worth, to me, 5 to 10% ownership. And I think Stokastic people aren't going to get him at all because they just don't seem to be juking his rates even a little bit. Austin Reeves gets a rate increase from not having LeBron out there as well. So Reeves 2x the field for me. Obvious leverage against Luka Doncic. If Luka Doncic doesn't produce well, probably means Austin Reeves took some work away. Maybe some of the other shittier Lakers also played better than usual as well. But really, if you're most of these teams, you're looking for a bunch of players. I could say if the star player fails, player B, player C, player D, all gain a little bit because of that guy not creating as many stats, not creating as many points, all that stuff. Because it's the Lakers and they have nobody good left. Really, it just takes Luka failing, and he can create value for Reeves. He create value for a bunch of Lakers who probably still won't pay off in like a tournament ceiling way, but probably pay off as a value play. So Reeves, to me, I think is your obvious one, though, at 8,900. Maybe hard to see that price tag, but these 9K guys, mostly, these really this entire group, guys that have played well, kind of earned their way up the price here, including Grimes, including Austin Reeves, including Kobe White. So you're really paying the price tag for their recent production. And if you think they suck, maybe start to fade them a little bit more. Anthony Edwards not getting a lot of him with Minnesota full strength. He's probably one of your lesser owned options here. Him, Şengün, Reeves. I guess Karl Anthony Towns as well. But again, that first game on the slate, losing that flexibility can be tough. Kobe White, getting him 30% for the field. I got him 57%. He's a big rate winner overall for the Bulls, which I did do something weird with the projections today where normally I don't like to pull one guy out and treat him differently. Nikola Vucevic has been so bad without Dosunmu, without Lonzo Ball, and without Zach LaVine on the court. Basically, a bunch of guys that feed Vooch the ball and kind of treat him as a key part of the offense. Kobe White and Josh Giddey, I've talked about it a few times on here, and both those guys are playing. They just don't feed Vooch as well. Vooch's rates go to the lowest point when you take Giddey off as well. 0.92 fantasy points per minute in Vooch, where he's getting really low usage, around 15%. The rebound rate's low. The assist rate's low. He's not doing everything, but I don't want to like fully throw Vucevic out and say that he is just a total garbage player, because we obviously know over a larger period of time, like he's been functional, he's done well. He's been a 1.2 fantasy point per minute guy, so it's kind of odd that all of a sudden he'd be averaging under 1 with certain guys being off the court. So what I did basically is I gave these other guys the boost that they would get for the players not available, but I kept Vucevic's rates the same. So Vooch is not going to look good to me. Kobe White looks better, but Kobe White would look even better if I did kind of bump Vooch down to where he has played so far, which is like he's playing terribly. You go through the box scores, you go through Popcorn Machine or NBA Wowie, add more funds, and just go through the rotations on there. It's really been a bad scene for Vooch with the changeover in guard. So probably due for a good day at some point would be the trade-off. But because there's going to be ownership for the Bulls today, I think that's kind of an important spot to note right away. And Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, not going to be owned very much. And I think this is with the assumption, the projections that Bradley Beal is out. But I actually didn't get a chance to look because I'd update everything before the show. This morning, though, Stokastic had Beal out. And I don't know if that's been confirmed or not yet. But I'll take a look in a second here. Let's sort by value. And let me see. Did they knock Beal out still? Yeah, Beal's out of the projection set. But I don't think Phoenix has submitted their injury report unless I missed in that last burst. No, still no injury report. So anyway, that's the thing for Durant and Booker. Probably doesn't matter that much. Your top value plays, your man to thumbnail today, Obi Toppin. So Obi Toppin basically is your backup 4, sometimes your backup 5. For Obi Toppin, think that he is a strong play today. My concern is that the minutes are not secure. He has to start. That's really the first thing here, because if he's not starting, he's going to have a lot of vestigial ownership as like one of the obvious value players from the moment today started, because Pascal Siakam has been ruled out in the injury report this entire day. The biggest winner in Indiana's rates, and I actually wrote this up for DraftKings Network on Friday when I was on vacation because I had to get that freelance money for one day. Basically wrote it up, and because Siakam was a Q tag on Friday's slate, Halliburton becomes like a 1.3 fantasy point per minute guy in court time without having Siakam on the court. So Siakam, a guy that rebounds a little bit, assists a little bit, that certainly hurts Halliburton the most. The usage as well. Basically, if you take Siakam off, you're getting replaced by lower usage guys like Toppin, like Neesmith to a lesser extent, pretty much like all those guys. So would say that for Indiana here, your big winner being Halliburton. You guys know if you watch these shows, never a big Halliburton guy, but 24% usage for him, 41% assist rate, 1.3 fantasy points per minute. You have Toppin at 1 fantasy point per minute, Miles Turner at 1.1 without Siakam. Weirdly, McConnell gains a little bit too, gets to 1.2 fantasy points per minute, but basically just not having that extra kind of point forward player like Siakam is. The point guards get better. So I think Halliburton would be sort of your lever against Toppin, but also minutes going to somebody else. I think Enrique Freeman might be available for these guys today. You could maybe get some minutes. You probably won't, but like just as a kind of a thought starter, you get some minutes. Thomas Bryant at the 5, Turner at the 4. They can do weird things that would make Toppin's minutes not be guaranteed. But he's normally your Siakam backup. So if you get the start, you should kind of assume him to play 25 or so minutes, and foul trouble, all that could knock him off. But Siakam's your best value, or Toppin's your best value in the slate because having no Siakam, 35% for the field, 59% for me. And I mean, I don't know, man. Look at the screen. This screen's probably the most relevant for you, Ryan. I appreciate you not asking about FanDuel, I guess, but now you give different esoteric questions that I don't normally answer. And I appreciate this kind chat here from Great Scott. Get to watch Raw while prepping for the slate. What a treat. Yeah, I had it on before the show as well. John Cena, interesting angle there, but didn't. I feel like it was just kind of an excuse to not change his merch, not change his music, and still keep selling. But I get it. Last year, you don't want to redo everything. Scottie Pippen, getting a good amount of him today because of no Ja Morant. Scottie Pippen, though, is also a Q tag. So if Scottie Pippen is out or if he doesn't pick up the start, you could see Luke Kennard start, something like that. Kennard and Bain, certainly possible. But Pippen likely get a decent amount of minutes no matter what at 4,700. So 33% of the field will be there. I got him at 54. Tyus Jones, 3x the field for me as well, with the assumption Beal's not playing today. Again, I guess it's possible he would, but back-to-back, probably not going to. Luke Kennard getting less ownership than Pippen. He's probably a direct lever against Pippen if Kennard steals a few more minutes, or if he gets a few more shots up, if he gets hot, whatever the case may be, Pippen kind of comes down. So Kennard at 4,500, your pivot's a Pippen, and Desmond Bain going nuts, Jaren Jackson going nuts. That would also probably help out the people who would fade Scottie Pippen today. Gary Payton II, I can't say I've gotten him on a single slate. I feel like this entire year, but getting him at 2x the field right now at 3,800 because you just don't have any other good values besides Obi Toppin at that price point. Quentin Grimes looks like a good value to me. I still couldn't get him the sim because Stokastic wouldn't give him to me in the sim. I will run my lineups through an optimizer later, so I'll get some Grimes. But it's kind of odd. Stokastic not supporting Grimes at all, not acknowledging his rates increases in Philadelphia and frankly in Dallas as well when guys like Luka and Kyrie were out. So I am a little more team Grimes, even though 8,100. Not a fun price tag for Quentin Grimes, I'll say. Kobe White, 30% for the field, 57% for me. Orlando Robinson, 29% for me, 11% for the field. Trey Jones, another big winner from having all the various guards out, including still a doubtful Josh Giddey, but he's not going to play. Trey Jones, 34% for the field. I'm at 36. He's had a 40-point ceiling lately in fantasy, which I saw while I was on vacation. Kind of surprised me. He's playing well, shooting well enough on the air, so he's there. Keldon Johnson, bit of a boost from De'Aaron Fox being out along with Wemby. That's, I believe, your last game on the slate tonight as well. So having him in here, I don't mind for the swappability, the flexibility here. And San Antonio only only an 8.5 point dog. It's got a little bit worse. I don't think it was ever 5.5 anyway, but 8.5 you could live with for a guy like Keldon Johnson, who probably starts gunning if things get out of hand too much in the fourth quarter, as he's done a few times this year for the Spurs. And Nick Richards, 2x the field on him. His minutes are not really secure. I don't really like him as a play, but we got what we got. We're going to go game by game here. And guys, if you're watching this video live, please do hit the like button. Please subscribe. Please leave a comment. It goes a long way for me here. One guy who gets right back from vacation, back in the grind here doing NBA. We got one more month of the regular season, guys, and that's also when our unabated deal ends. So number one, get unabated now. Number two, I'm not sure I'm going to handle it. I think what I'll probably do is some playoff videos, but I might not do them close to pre-lock. May start to view that as my initial transition into MLB if we're going to go that way. But MLB, I'm not going to have a sponsor, so I don't know. I got to figure some stuff out, guys. But your support here down the home stretch, subscribing, hit the like button. Let me know what you want to see, I guess, down the home stretch here. Because I like playing NBA playoff DFS, and frankly, it's where I've had some of my biggest wins. But I also, I don't know. if I should do without a sponsor. Stokastic as well, 15% off. Link description for both these tools. So 20% off unabated, 15% off Stokastic. Get better at betting, get better at DFS. Check one of those links down in the description. Let's go game by game here. Digging in. Oh, and shout out to our pal Emac here, our old pal, guy who filled in with me on Thursday as well, or filled in for me rather on Thursday on the Deeper Dive. So shout out to Emac. Always glad to see him here. Let's go to Miami. You got 101.8 implied points. New York, 108.3 on their side. I've got nothing for Miami right now with Wiggins being in the projection set as a Q tag. Wiggins is out. Probably looks a little bit better for the wing players. Hero and Adebayo get a little bit more projection as well from not having the points, the rebounds, the assists going to Wiggins. That said, not a great total here. Doesn't seem like the spot, really. I mean, it's not quite a 90s Heat Knicks. For my old pal Emac, will be really the only person in chat. Him and Steve Leibovitz will be the one who'll know this. It's not quite 90s Knicks Heat in terms of the team totals here, but still low enough compared to the modern NBA that you're not seeing a lot of love here for a mostly full rotation at this point. Even if Wiggins is out, like they got enough bodies. New York on their side, we talked about Karl-Anthony Towns. 3x the field for me here. I don't love giving away that flexibility. And as I mentioned earlier, this is your only 7:30 game tonight, so you have to keep in mind that you lose a lot of flexibility if you had a bunch of players from this game. The good news is you're not going to naturally get it too much. I think Towns looks good as a ceiling play. He probably ends up a little bit lower owned. I would guess the max he gets to is like 7, 8, 9%. Probably doesn't even get to 10 because people just don't want to lose that flexibility, justifiably so. But he projects well enough for me. He's averaging shy of 1.6 fantasy points a minute in court time without Brunson. So I think Towns still very playable here. And besides that, Miles McBride, 2x the field on him. I got no issue with that. But really not any big stands in this first game. And I think that's probably the way it should be. Even though Towns, 3x the field, probably a little more than I would like to have. I feel like 10 to 15% feels about right for Towns. Detroit, 102.8 or 120.8 implied points. That'd be much lower. It's more like the Knicks game. But 120.8 implied points for Detroit. New Orleans, we got 113.8 on their side. I am with the field on Cade Cunningham. I also would love to line up perfectly, but it's not gonna. Think he's fine as a 1/5 the field play. Again, this is our second wave of games on the slate. You do lose some flexibility for Cade Cunningham, but if the field's gonna be at 20%, I'm okay being 15 to 20 for myself. Got Jalen Duren with the field on 16% of the ownership here. Not really a big stand on him. He's producing well. He does gain a little bit from Ivy being off the court this year. And the minutes for him have gotten better because he doesn't get in stupid foul trouble quite as much. So Jalen Duren looking okay here and could theoretically rip the New Orleans center rotation, which is a banged-up Yves Missy and not much else of note. But really not a priority spot. I think the total looks okay here. Cade, to me, is obviously the best play. Duren, I don't mind. Tobias Harris, I really don't get very much. He plays worse overall since Ivy's been gone. I don't know why you'd be there. New Orleans on their side, 113.8 implied points. I got nothing here. Zion has the Q tag on him. I think we have a Q tag on Olynyk as well. If you get a few, and Missy, I guess also has a Q tag. You get some of these guys out, start to look better. But as it is right now, I don't think there's really any plays here. But you're not I mean, honestly, Detroit's defense, 112.4 defensive efficiency, basically means they're giving up 112.4 points per 100 possessions. They're not bad. So I don't know, maybe this game a little less open-ended on the Detroit side, but Detroit should be playing a soft matchup here. 100 pace, losing a little bit, but not too much. New Orleans, though, that Detroit matchup's gotten tougher, I think, before our eyes. And frankly, I didn't notice they were better than league average at this point. Indiana, 110.3 implied points. Minnesota, 118.3 implied points. Again, the Indiana stuff really is going to matter a lot. If you got Turner out as well, things would start to look a little bit different for this team because you would have to have more guaranteed minutes for Obi Toppin, more guaranteed minutes for Thomas Bryant as well. Thomas Bryant's also a $3K minimum salary guy, so that would matter quite a bit. As it is right now, seems like Stokastic hedging a little bit on Obi Toppin's minutes. The thing for Toppin is that, in games recently, he's playing backup 4 and he's also playing backup 5 over Thomas Bryant a good amount. So if you get Turner out, I think we're pretty much guaranteed Toppin at least get a good shot at minutes. And then if he's not getting the minutes, they go to Thomas Bryant. But with Enrique Freeman recalled from the G League, makes me think Miles Turner may not go today. So we'll see how that goes. But I would say the Thomas Bryant starting for Miles Turner might matter more right now than Obi Toppin does. But Obi Toppin, things to watch out for. But Obi Toppin's good value. I think he's one of those players where if the minutes projection stays here and Turner plays, the ownership probably flattens out a little bit as better value comes along. But right now, 35% for the field. I'm getting it about 60%. This is such an out-of-pocket question. I have no thoughts about either on this slate. They're not really kind of players you're going to your way for, but I'll look at them when we get to those games, I guess. Minnesota, 118.3 implied points here. I got nothing, so I'll make up some time on this one. This game, not a bad total, not a bad opponent either in terms of the efficiency going against them. Getting a little bit of a pace up, gaining about 2.5 possessions. But really, to me, I don't know. These guys feel like tournament plays, especially Anthony Edwards, going to be pretty low owned overall. But I don't know. The projection doesn't look that great. You've got kind of a full rotation here. Edwards is still priced up. Randall's been priced up enough. So I'm not really sure what you're getting out of it, but it is on paper a nice match versus Indiana. And you're going to get some Indiana most likely, especially if you have injuries on there. So maybe boosting Minnesota guys on the way back, game stacking a little bit more could be a logical way to do that. Philadelphia, I got to make up some time here. Philadelphia, 103 implied points. Nobody looks that good here, which surprises me. Quentin Grimes, the projection looks good enough. He doesn't come up, though, in the Stokastic sim, so I'm not getting him right now. Still think I'll end up with about 10% Quentin Grimes in the slate runs because I do want to take that shot at him with how he's played. He's averaged 1.4 fantasy points a minute with the various Sixers out, the key ones. Hard for me to ignore that. That's where I have him at today because I adjusted his rates up. He has been a legitimate star player. And guys like Jared Butler lately as well, just not taking the same amount of usage, not quite the same guys. We had Jeff Doughton have the good day over the weekend, but still that's not something you expect every spot. But I think it does speak to the fact that guys are going to get their shots. It's going to be mostly Grimes, Doughton, and Jared Butler. It seems like they're kind of relegating down the rotation a little bit. Houston on their side, 119 implied points here, 117.3 defense efficiency for Philadelphia, and obviously that's even weaker from the guys they're missing today. I have no issue going to any Houston player because they should be able to abuse Philadelphia as much as they can. The issue is you're paying full freight for all these guys. Tari Eason, 11% for the field for me compared to 5.4% for the field, so he's playable. Certainly not a priority play at 6,200, but has that upside. In particular, if Şengün doesn't play well, Tari Eason probably played pretty well in the spots. Şengün, that would be the one I like the most. It's kind of a pay-up option people won't get to. 4% ownership here. Philadelphia can brick a ton of shots. And frankly, this feels like a Şengün triple-double by the start of the fourth quarter spot for me. So I would say for Şengün, I think he's a strong player here with not much ownership going his way. Chicago, 123.8 implied points, facing Utah here. Really high total in this game. It's combined 240 and change points here. So it's a game we're expecting these bad teams to play well, given how soft the matchup is. Would say that for Chicago, you're going to get a good amount of these guys no matter what. Kobe White, 57% for me, almost 2x the field. It's a little bit aggressive. As I mentioned, Vucevic, I gave him his rates, but kind of boost everybody around him. Just he hasn't been playing that well with the various point guards not available, so I'm not crazy about him, but 15% of the field is going to be there. If you want to play Şengün with the field, I'm okay with it, but just be mindful of the fact he's been producing probably his worst rate in any split I've seen for him in the last 5 years. Vucevic averaging 0.9 fantasy points per minute in court time without the point guards who are no longer available and Josh Giddey. Kobe White just doesn't pass the ball to him enough in their limited sample size time together without the other guys. Trey Jones, I don't know what he's doing out there, but it's not feeding Vooch either. So Vooch has just been not a great player lately. You can go through the game by game if you want to try to understand why more. Kevin Huerter, I think, looks better on FanDuel today. I know the salary is a little bit cheaper, positionality a little bit cheaper as well. DraftKings only 19% for me, 34% for the field. I'm okay with Herter, but I mean, he's pretty more than appropriately owned. Trey Jones, 35% for the field. I'm with that. I prefer him to Herter, but really, these guys are all pretty similar plays for the most part in terms of like, you kind of want to be with the field. My big stand is Kobe White, so I'll probably stick with that no matter what. Shouldn't be this down on Vooch, I think, just out of the fear of him finally playing better, because when you have a guy whose rates are that bad, he could just be due for one good game to level it out. So that could be Vooch today. Herter showing up in a ton of FanDuel lineups. There we go. So I know Josh had it as my pal Josh Englund, who I'll be with on the deeper dive on Stokastic in about an hour. He had on his contenders. I think Kevin Herter as his top play. Obviously, it's going to move around throughout the day. So yeah, Herter, one of those players today. Fine on DraftKings, seems a little bit more like a crucial value play on FanDuel potentially. Utah. So Walker Kessler, not on the injury report. Lowry Markkanen Q-tag, Clarkson Q-tag, Keontae George Q-tag. The team could look very different. It already looks different than the projections had them for this morning. We're seeing McKay look like one of the best value plays in the slate after he played 25 minutes last game. With most of the rotation going, now you have, I think Clarkson is back in today. Markkanen was in for that when he played 25 minutes, but it seems like Svi is back to, so it's weird. Like they keep moving him around. He's played shooting guard behind Keontae George before. Now he's mostly was playing minutes behind Lowry Markkanen, coming in when Markkanen comes off the court. I don't know what Utah's really doing with rotations. I wouldn't trust Svi as chalk, even if you had a few more guys out here, but I do think he's produced okay this year. Frankly, starting to shoot worse than he did earlier in the year too. I would still take shots on Svi at 3,300, but he's not been good. He's not been good, and the coaches jerk him around a lot in the rotation. But really high total here, so if you want to play these guys, you can. It just doesn't look as good as it did this morning. Toronto on their side. So it seems like Scotty Barnes and quickly going to play. RJ Barrett out for rest. Barnes on a back-to-back here. The minutes at 28 might be a little bit lofty for him. Orlando Robinson playing big minutes off the bench. He should be starting today because Jakob Poeltl is out. Either him or Castleton, maybe both, but I would think it's probably Orlando Robinson starting. At certain points, they probably will play the two together, but I think it's, well, I guess with Mobo in, they could do some weird shit. Ochai Agbaji also seemingly going to play today. He played 25 minutes yesterday. Toronto, we know, is a team that's tanking, even though they can win the play-in, so it's a little bit of a weird team to try to want to advocate for too much here. Total's not great, despite a good match versus Phoenix. It just feels kind of like a muddy game for them. 108.5 when you're facing a team giving up 119 or 118 points per 100 possessions. Something feels off here with this game to me, and the projections, I think, support that. Robinson's been good. Robinson looked like Shaq last week in one of those games for the Raptors, so I won't fully shit on Robinson, but I'm not buying a whole lot here. Svi got a Q-tag too? Great. Well, give them all a Q-tag. Let's see. Beal's officially out. Thank you, Jake. That's better than your previous chats. You're improving hour by hour here. And Grayson out too. All right, so more minutes on the wing for sure. Phoenix on their side. So Grayson Allen in his projection set, so we have to free up 21 minutes here. Tyus Jones, I think, getting more secure here at 4,300. I feel pretty good about him as a value. If he didn't get there, honestly, I don't even think they would dust off Monty Morris at this point. Ryan Dunn, I guess, is a viable enough play at 3,800. With the Allen minutes, you're going to make it more secure for Tyus Jones to get to 32 minutes, a few more for Royce O'Neal as well from Grayson Allen being out. So those guys are now playable value to me. I'd prefer Tyus Jones because I think the run's more secure. But yeah, Beal officially being out, Grayson Allen being out, that means you're probably going to get more of the Phoenix guys' value here. Durant and Booker also look more playable as well. And frankly, Phoenix is a shitty enough team that they could let Toronto hang in this game. So these guys, I really think the least appealing pay-up options to me, but they hit enough here that I'll highlight the fact they're both less than 10% owned. There are so many Q-tags on the slate. I don't even know what the unabated projection set is because I haven't seen since more of the Q-tags came out, but I have to assume they have like at least 13 different projection sets today. So we'll see how that looks. Denver, 116.3 implied points. We're going to get to unabated in a moment as well for your best bets for today. But Denver here, Jokic looking good for me, 3x the field. Aaron Gordon a little bit more than the field's 10%. Not much else here. If Jamal Murray's out, Westbrook looks better. Everybody's going to look better. If you get any combo of guys out besides Jokic, Jokic looks better and a lot more playable at 13,000. But at this point, I think Jokic an interesting tournament play at 13,000. As more value opens up, people will be able to get to Jokic more. So that's going to be the trade-off if we do get more value on the slate. But if you get guys out on Denver, somebody here is going to look good. If Jokic is out, everybody looks better. So really make sure to keep flexibility for this game. This is a late swap one. You're going to have to do 10 p.m. Eastern start time. So it sucks, but DraftKings people, we are getting treated like FanDuel peasants today. We got to pay attention the entire night. Golden State, 120.8 implied points on their side. Not a lot to love here. The field's playing Draymond at 23%. I don't know why you would do that at this point with Butler and Kuminga in. These guys, to me, price tags I don't like very much. Gary Payton, I got his value. Hopefully that'll be gone by the time we actually get to the slate. Not a bad total here, so I kind of get why you're getting some of these guys, but it's not a bad total because you have like the first, fully healthy team here. That you've had in a while, obviously relative to like, last couple months. So for Golden State, I don't know how you play these guys at the price tags really, but I guess Draymond, I get it because he's cheap enough. And Kuminga, the minutes aren't there all the way yet either, so I probably wouldn't play him very much at 5,300. Golden State minus 4.5 feels like Jokic out. I don't think that's true. I mean, it could be Murray and who are the other Q tags they have? It could be Murray and Gordon out, I think the same way. So, because they wouldn't be a favorite. And Golden State's also like, 14-2, 15-2, so they got Butler. So, I don't think the total's that crazy, especially with Denver. Denver's on a back-to-back, right? Let me confirm that. No, Denver's not on a back-to-back. Denver hasn't played since the 15th, so okay. I don't know. You could be right that somebody's out, though. Wouldn't be crazy. Okay. Memphis, 118 implied points. We got Sacramento, 120.3. A lot of Scottie Pippen ownership right now. Really an important one to watch out for because if he doesn't start, that minutes expectation's got to come down a good amount. Kennard would likely start if Pippen didn't. You could be, I think, perfectly credible to just swap all your Pippen to Kennard if you did get that announcement that Kennard is starting and Pippen isn't. And you can do that as well because Kennard is point guard, shooting guard in 4,500, where Scottie Pippen is point guard only in 4,700. Let's see. We got Jaren Jackson, 2x the field for me. Bane, I can't get to that 9K price tag. We do know he has the ceiling and he won't be played, though, at 4% ownership. So something can pop in Memphis. The total's not as good as Memphis has had lately, but, and a big pace down technically, too, losing about 5 possessions for Memphis today. So I guess those are the reasons to kind of critique him a little bit. But no Ja Morant, no Santi Aldama as well. Things kind of level out there. Sacramento, 120.3 implied points. How many fucking games are there? Still got 2 more besides a Sacramento side. So I apologize here. I'm doing the best I can. Sacramento, 120.3 implied points. And I want to read that chat from WW Fresh. Nothing on Sacramento for me, so I guess we could save time there. These guys more than appropriately priced. Levine and DeRozan have come up. Monk has come up. Sabonis is more than high enough at 9,400 as well. I don't see it. Washington, 112.3 implied points. You have no Bilal Coulibaly the rest of the year, which I think broke after the last video we did. Nothing else a priority to me here. Champagny, getting him a little bit more at 5,400. He's not a great producer. 0.96 fan sports minutes, not bad though, and he's playing 30 minutes a game, it seems like. So the usage is not great. The rebounding rate's okay. The assist rate's not great, but they all kind of come together for him to have decent fantasy days. He is one of those guys where it feels like the ceiling is never quite large enough, but if he did score some actual points in a day, it might look better. So Champagny, I'll be there, even though it doesn't make me feel that good. I'm projected for 12 points today. The rebounds, though, 8 rebounds, kind of nuts to see. I've projected for more rebounds than Sar, which feels kind of crazy. But his rebound rate is higher, so that's basically why. Rashawn Holmes being in doesn't help on anything here. Alex Sarr's minutes get a little bit shorter. Sarr's been playing well lately, so I do want to keep a pin in Sar and play him a little bit more. But I'm not there today at 6,500. Match versus Portland's not bad, though. Portland on their side, Denny Avdia coming in here. No Jeremy Grant today again. Donovan Clingan, you're losing a couple backups. Still just going to get probably Duop Reith. Picking up Jabari Walker's minutes that are in here right now. Clingan, I think, playable, not great. You want the Denny revenge game? Sure. Yeah, Denny looks okay. I mean, I'm certainly not giving him a boost for the revenge part of things, but it would also be more of a revenge game if it were in Washington. That is historically how that goes more for the NBA guys. But 7,100, I play Avdia a good amount in slates. He probably doesn't kill you if he doesn't crush at value either. So, and he does contribute in every category as well. In Washington being a team that's not very good defensively, technically a pace up. Avdia is the kind of guy that should benefit. But these guys here, I think, all look like playable kind of tournament options. I certainly would favor Avdia with him being in almost a third of my lineups. Clingan in 17%. They're both here. Clingan not that fun when chalky. It's pretty chalky here, but they don't really want to play Duop Reith, so you got that going for you. And again, they have to reassign these minutes here. So 5.4 minutes for Walker, 13.8 for Robert Williams. Those are all probably going to flow to Reith, and he'll get, well, maybe not all of them. He probably gets about an 18-minute projection from Stokastic, I would think, when they update. And our last game on the slate, thank our dear Lord, we got San Antonio 110.3 implied points. San Antonio here, despite having no De'Aaron Fox, no Wemby, things don't look that good for anybody here. I gave these guys their rate boost. Keldon Johnson getting more than 2x the field, 25% for me. Sohan getting 2x the field, 15% for me. Castle with the field, 11%. They look okay. None of them look great, so that's it. Do-Hop Reith and GPPs. It gets you leverage on decently on Klingon, so you could do it. Reith himself is not really a great contributor, though, only 0.83 fantasy points per minute, so wouldn't be a thing I would do a lot, but you can take your shot. If you're doing a 20 max, I guess. Any guy that's like, going to be 20% owned by the field, you could then try to get leverage on them with their backup. I think that's not a crazy thing to do. But San Antonio here, some pieces I'll certainly have. And I'd like having some ownership here because we want to keep that flexibility as always at a late swap around a slate like this. Lakers, 41% for the field for Luka Doncic, as we talked about earlier. We got Austin Reeves, 2x the field for me, so I'm half the field on Luka, 2x the field on Reeves. I do like that as a stance where basically if you're saying Luka fails, it's probably because Austin Reeves had a better shot of an outlier day. Similarly, Jordan Goodwin playing well, like Jordan Goodwin and Finney Smith hitting a few more shots be another way that Luka Doncic doesn't get cclose to that 62-point projection. But Luka's been playing well enough. As I mentioned earlier, 40% usage rate, 40% assist rate, just kind of crazy numbers. He's taken about 80% of the possessions away on the Lakers so far. So like Luka's good chalk or, good enough chalk. But, if 41% of the field is going to be there, how do you get leverage? It's probably the various other Lakers playing, I would say 25 or more minutes. And that is all these games. Let me read this chat from WW Fresh, and I'll use to set up some whoring here. Spags up, brother. Taking off till opening day. MLB. Want to say thanks for last week. Your sharp views helped me squeak into the cash line and keep up the great work. Well, thank you for that, WW Fresh. And of course, if you guys want some help here every day, I do the best I can at Monday to Friday, 4 p.m. for NBA. We're going to be doing it for at least another month here with our friends at Unabated. So please just subscribe down below, hit the like button, leave a comment. It all goes a long way. Let's learn about our friends at Unabated right now and their conditional NBA projections, which are really important on a day like this one. And there you go. Expert NBA. We're back. We're back talking over videos again, huh, boy? Vacation goes by too fast. It doesn't really feel like vacation. We got all these data, all these charts, all the data you possibly need to make good bets. And of course, the most important one, the conditional NBA projections that Unabated makes for themselves. Of course, different sets based upon players being Q-tags. They matter on a slate. Unabated makes a projection set for them in or out. You can bet off of that accordingly. Of course, you got your different prop line pricing. You can sim out. Of course, that's going to create some sweet graphs here. If you needed some graphs back in your life after a few days off, now you're getting graphs all up in your grass. Ass? I should have said ass. Graphs in your ass would work. And of course, expert live streams. You're going to be doing some free videos, I think, when the playoffs start as well. So you can watch them. And go to unabated.com/NBA. Click the link in the description as well. Promo code SPLASH will get you 20% off, but link in the description will do that for you automatically. So please do that. And of course, if you had been betting on Unabated since the season started, you'd be up over $50,000 right now if you bet every bet 30 minutes before tip-off. That's a 5% or higher sim EV on it. So of course, that's with $100 units. If you'd placed only $10 bets, you'd be up $5K. But no matter what, you'd be up a lot. You could see here, maybe not quite a hockey stick, but I don't know, like a like a roller coaster going on the way up, I think is what you're getting here. So great data from Unabated. You get it for this deal as well. Only $4.99 for the rest of the season. Would have been better if you got it a couple weeks ago, to be totally honest. So do maybe a monthly package. But I don't know. Do one of them. Click the link down below and get your taste for free here because I will not be giving out any bets once our deal's up the 13th of next month. So you got to get it in now or else go to hell. That's the Unabated pitch. Get in now. Get some good bets or go to hell. Unabated.com/NBA. I think my promo is going to get loose down the home stretch, maybe. All right, let's send this out here for our best points bets right now. First, you can see all the Q tags here. It's Monty Kamara, Stephen Curry, Keontae George, Halliburton, Jokic, Markkanen, Eve Missy, Jamal Murray, Miles Turner, Andrew Wiggins, Zion Williamson, and Gershon Yabusele. Boy, that really ended with a limp. But let's sim it out. They do MLB. They do MLB with market data here. I think they might be putting out some stuff for pitching markets, but I'm not working with them in MLB, unfortunately. If I took it in the bum and ripped a post-11 fart, it would come out as graphs. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that. Your love, Ross. Ross really knows how to make me question reading chats out loud. That is always the deal here. All right. Let's sort this out here. Of course, we're scrolling down to make sure you pull every bet in when you resort. And we're omitting all the Q tag teams and players because pay for it if you want. It's just easier that way to have to talk about the various variables. Nikola Vucevic, though, unabated, liking the points over here. We got over 16 points on PrizePicks, 10.6% EV. Nikola Vucevic, also looking playable on DraftKings and FanDuel, a little bit lower EV there for over 16.5. Underdog, not quite as good, but still, these three are playable. I probably would skip Underdog. Nas Reed over 12.5 points. Minus 105 odds on DraftKings looks best. Playable on FanDuel as well. Not on your pickup sites, though. But Nas Reed over 12.5 points look good. Not quite as good as Nikola Vucevic's over did. Nickeil Alexander-Walker over 6.5 points. Minus 130 odds on DraftKings Sportsbook. Gets you 8.4% EV. Still playable on PrizePicks right now, where it's over 7 there at a 5.8% EV. But don't play on Underdog or FanDuel, DraftKings, or PrizePicks for Nickeil Alexander-Walker over 6.5 points, over 7 on PrizePicks. Vince Williams Jr. under 8.5 points. I don't love this bet because when you have Ja out, things can start to get weird. But again, you're talking about taking the volume of bets anyway, so it doesn't really matter what I think. 7.8% EV, because the more you build the sample size using good data, the better you're going to find your ROI, basically, is how that works. So even if you question something in a one-off thing, it's better to not do that over and over again because you just want to increase the bets based on the data you're using, which with unabated data, you saw the graph, you know how it goes. But anyway, Vince Williams here under 8.5 points on Underdog, looking good. Playable on DraftKings as well under 8.5. I don't love the bet because I really think he can easily soak up a few extra points today, but that's the bet. Keon Ellis under 8.5 points, good on Underdog and PrizePicks. You probably don't want it on your regular sports book, so pick 'em sites only. Keon Ellis under 8.5 points. Julian Champagnie over 8.5 points, looking good on FanDuel, where it's plus 100 odds for him. The Champagnie were probably to play less in DFS today, only on FanDuel Sportsbook for over 8.5 points at plus 100 odds. And Chris Middleton, 7.2% EV for over 12.5 points, minus 114 odds on FanDuel Sportsbook. Bettable on PrizePicks Underdog. Technically bettable if you round up on DraftKings. So grand slam, let's call it for Chris Middleton here, over 12.5 points. Bet it anywhere you can get it. Let's go to rebounds next. Missed YouTube chat. You can tell I did miss you guys. I mean, like I miss process. Like I like having a process every day. The same token though, like really did not feel like doing work today. Because as mentioned up top, and I think the parents know, or hopefully the parents know, the vacations just don't feel like vacations when you have a kid, and especially if you're like with a family that does a lot of things on the go, and it's like, fuck, either I have to go with Alex to do stuff or I have to watch Luca instead. And either way, I'm not getting enough credit for it. So it's not the most fun. It's not like I need a solo vacation where I'm just on an island and sleeping and getting hammered by 2 and taking a nap, then eating a bunch of food. That's my dream vacation. One day this year we'll hopefully accomplish that. When the schedule allows. Kobe White, best bet right now, under 7.5 rebounds, 54.5% EV on Underdog. Crazy high EV here. Sometimes Underdog has these lines that kill him pretty fast because I think they absolutely have access to Unabated's data. But under 7.5 rebounds for Kobe White, looking good right now. You'll vacation when you're dead. Thank you. I appreciate that. Vacation sounds when I'm dead sounds good at this point. At this point, take whatever you get. Vince Williams under 3.5 rebounds, 13% EV on DraftKings Sportsbook, plus 100 odds on there. That's the only bet I would take. Probably wouldn't take these ones on PrizePicks and Underdog. So Vince Williams under 3.5 rebounds. Again, it's not the most comfortable because Vince Williams is playing well enough and can earn more minutes, but I think these bets are okay. We got Devin Vassell under 4.5 rebounds. Good to go on Underdog. Less good everywhere else. So take Vassell under 4.5 rebounds on your Underdog pick'ems only. We're getting 12.6% EV for him. Alex Sarr over 6.5 rebounds. Plus 108 odds on FanDuel. Get you 12.2% EV. You can bet it on DraftKings as well at plus 100 odds. You probably don't want your pick'em sites for Alex Sarr. Domantas Sabonis under 12.5 rebounds, minus 104 odds on FanDuel, get you 11.6% EV. Bettable on your pickup sites and on FanDuel too. So actually pretty good EV on your sports books where it's 11% or so EV on DraftKings and FanDuel, and a little bit less good on the pick'em sites, but still playable for Domantas Sabonis under 12.5 rebounds. Alperen Sengun under 11 rebounds, looking good on PrizePicks, playable on DraftKings and FanDuel. The best on PrizePicks where it's under 11 rebounds, DraftKings and FanDuel under 11.5, but less beneficial odds. And Stephon Castle over 3.5 rebounds, good on Underdog, not good anywhere else. 10.6% EV for Stephon Castle over 3.5 rebounds on Underdog. Assists coming up here. That's the Aloha Steak. Got a spot for you. Thanks. I love staying with random men off the internet. And CJ, I think, is one of the best vibes of anybody in chat. But no, like, no disrespect, I would have to know you so well to go slay in your house. You kidding me? Love you though, CJ, always. But I appreciate the sentiment, but I like hotels, even Airbnbs. Like I fucking couldn't sleep for shit. They always turn the heat on too high on these vacations. So they're really a combination of factors that make me feel really unrested coming back. But I want to be in a hotel alone on sheets that I can ruin. That's the dream. With blood, with semen, whatever it takes. We got PrizePicks and Underdog looking good for campaign under 2.5 assists. Minus 118 odds at, of course, your usual pick'em odds there. 22.3% EV on your pickup sites. Not playable anywhere else for the campaign under versus Miami. Jordan Poole under 4.5 assists. Looking good on Underdog. Playable on DraftKings. Not playable anywhere else, I would say. So Jordan Poole under 4.5 assists. Good Underdog and DraftKings. Don't take it on PrizePicks or FanDuel. Vince Williams under 2.5 assists, minus 110 odds. There you go. So see, I reject CJ. CJ rejects me back, knowing now. I wouldn't do it to your sheet, CJ, but I would do it, sometimes. Vince Williams under 2.5 assists, though, minus 110 odds on DraftKings Sportsbook gets you 18% EV. Trey Jones over 7.5 assists, good to go on FanDuel, where it's plus 116 odds, getting you 14.1% EV. Still good on DraftKings as well, where it's 11% EV. Good on PrizePicks as well for Trey Jones. So Trey Jones over on the menu everywhere besides Underdog today with pretty quality EVs. Malik Monk over 5.5 assists today. Good to go on PrizePicks with 13.1% EV. That's probably the only place you want to take that. Justin Champagnie under 1.5 assists. He does a little bit of everything, so I don't love fading it. He's playing big minutes, but 12.6% EV for Champagnie under 1.5 assists, only on Underdog. And Fred VanVleet under 5.5 assists just doesn't do as much as you would think with Amin Thompson off the court. His rates actually get worse in every category. Other guys just step up more, but it's versus Philly, so maybe some caution here. But under 5.5 assists for VanVleet, good on all of your sites. Grand Slam for VanVleet, though it does look best on DraftKings Sportsbook. And minus 115 odds for VanVleet under 5.5 assists. Last but not least, our PRAs, and of course, we'll do a DFS sim. I'll give you guys my final splash plays take here for the day. See that? I pull it up on the screen, but I'm not going to read that one. That's right. If you do super chat it, legally I have to read it. I think that's how that goes. Even if it is like a Mo the Bartender, a Simpsons prank, I will read it out loud. But oh boy, guys, if I have no sponsor for MLB, we're going to be really hoping the super chat game starts to get strong. So you baseball fans out there, by which I mean white people, please strap in for some super chats if you want to see MLB content here. Fucking join the channel for the love of God. Give me 1,000 members on here so I can be like Pete Overzet and just live off Discord money and not worry about anything. Oh, yeah. No respect to Pete, but it's brilliant. And I wish I'd done it years earlier. Please fucking do it. Vince Williams under 15.5 PRAs. A lot of unders on Vince Williams, which I just don't agree with on a day where you're missing some dudes. 21.9% EV for Vince Williams on Underdog. A little bit less good on PrizePicks, where it's under 14.5 PRAs. Vince Williams unders, seemingly unabated. Loves the unders on Vince Williams today. Campaign under 9.5 PRAs, looking good on Underdog and PrizePicks. Really has not been a big minutes winner from Brunson being out. That could change in one game, I guess. But based on what we've seen so far, I think these bets for the under on Campaign today on your pickup sites, PRAs under 9.5 look good. Again, PrizePicks and Underdog. Nas Reed over 19.5 PRAs, 11% EV on PrizePicks. You probably don't want that one anywhere else. So Nas Reed over 19.5 PRAs, PrizePicks only. Keegan Murray under 21.5 PRAs, good on Underdog, not good anywhere else. For Keegan Murray under 21.5 PRAs. We got Keyshawn George, 10.5% EV on under 20.5 PRAs. For a guy playing a lot of minutes lately, but still, he can hit an under. Minus 125 odds on FanDuel is your best bet. But also playable on DraftKings, not in your pick'em sites for Keyshawn George under 20.5 PRAs. 19.5 on DraftKings as well, worth noting. So definitely take it on FanDuel if you can. Fred VanVleet under 22.5 PRAs, looking best on FanDuel Sportsbook, but still playable on DraftKings. Minus 106 odds on FanDuel gets you about 9.8% EV. And lastly here, Alperen Şengün, who I do like this match versus Philly. I think this is the kind of spot where you can really put up some easy kind of put back points, get some easy assists as well from guys who are going to be open from three. Your risk is really them not playing the fourth quarter. You never want to assume that. So Alperen Şengün, I would play him in DFS. Maybe take this bet as your way to kind of hedge against it. Şengün under 37.5 PRAs on DraftKings Sportsbook and minus 120 odds gets you about 7.6% EV. And that's Unabated for you. Again, we got one more month here of Unabated on the channel. Of course, I'll reference it sometimes. It is great data, but I'm not going to promote it as hard, Please, but get in there now. Really, if you want to get in, either start using the bets here on screen every day, get a read for it, and then check it out for yourself after we're not covering it on stream every day, or just get in there now. You could see the graph earlier, and I'll pull it up one more time because aren't a lot of things that'll give you a graph of winning $50,000 over the span of a season. Maybe your Stokastic odds shopper stuff, maybe you'll do the same thing too. For Unabated, though, I mean, it's a very proprietary product, and I think it's a good product. So check it out for yourself. Unabated, great tool, 20% off, link down below. And your results could look like this if you just fucking did the work. Those things makes me think I should have been placing more bets too. But can't do it on stream. So unfortunately, that makes it a little bit tough for me. Let's go to Stokastic next. We'll run a DFS sim. Earlier in the year, I was hitting all my Unabated stuff. I was doing well with it, but I lost it in my process because I just didn't have enough time. Makes me really feel like an idiot, though, for not using the free data while I have access to it. I'll give you that. And we're going to run a Stokastic sim now. Check it out. Find money for my chat transcriptions. Thank you, Robert Griffin III. I appreciate you. Appreciate you playing with the bit here. Really, if there's anything you're ever going to do that's going to annoy me or make me feel silly, just give me money and it fixes things right away. People say money doesn't fix everything. I call those people fucking pieces of shit who don't know anything. Other updates for you guys. Well, first of all, let's do some shilling. Unabated, we did that already, 20% off, link down below. Stokastic, you're going to see on screen right now, 15% below, and that's NBA data, NBA sims, also their PGA stuff, their MLB stuff coming up. So if you want to get in here and play that MLB slate coming up for Japan, I'm not going to be looking at it yet. But for you guys that want to do that, get any of the data you want at Stokastic. They have no promo codes going that I'm aware of right now besides this one that I get as an affiliate. Let's check it out down below, link in the description. And okay, so I'm going to run the sim here. My data not involved, only Stokastic's data. Looks like they updated projections at 440 and ownership updated shortly thereafter. So pretty hot off the presses. We'll see what they get here. I mean, my recommendations for my vacation as well. I've been really craving movies where it's like one guy killing a bunch of people. So YouTube Shorts been giving me them out the ass. Finally watched Nobody with Bob Odenkirk as like a powered down version of John Wick. Great movie. Love that. Very fun too. Goes by fast. I also never watched the Equalizer movies, and I thought those were great. I didn't know. I thought they were like a little more CIA, like, special agent forward stuff. But apparently not. So I will give them my recommendation as well. I've really enjoyed Denzel Washington killing people, and Bob Odenkirk, better known as Saul on Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. Him killing people too, a delight. So those are my recommendations for you guys. If you, again, much like me, enjoy just, fantasizing about murdering rooms of people, just as we all do. And the prize pool sucks for opening showdown. Oh, does it? I mean, I'm not surprised. The Japan game and then like the season not really starting because you get 2 weeks in between. It's not going to work. Nobody was fun. I agree. Yeah, that's why I said movies like John Wick, Josh. You are a fucking dumbass sometimes, man. Our top lineups, I appreciate because I think Josh is like a golden retriever, and that's like what a golden retriever would chat back. So I get it. But yes, I love the John Wick movies. Some of my favorites. I have also watched Ong Bak. You could eventually probably find one I haven't watched, but I also have watched The Raid. I have watched the foreign ones as well. But yes, really any movie that with one guy killing a bunch of people, just put me in there. I'm good to go. We got number one ROI lineup according to Stokastic data. Trey Jones, Kevin Herter, so getting some Bulls representation. Justin Champagnie, Obi Toppin, Orlando Robinson, Scottie Pippen Jr., Denny Avdia, Nikola Jokic. Boy, oh boy, that is the most non-star laden lineup you'll ever see here. But it does speak to the fact that paying up for Jokic here is something that Stokastic likes, and that happens when these guys just a little bit too expensive, has a ceiling, and I think it would get a lot worse too if you get some Denver players out where they're just going to force you to Jokic more. Trey Jones at number 2 again. Trey Jones and Kevin Herter. Denny Avdia again as well. Aaron Gordon in this one, he's a Q tag. Nick Richards, Tyus Jones, Jeremy Sohan, Nikola Jokic. So again, another not very star-laden lineup here to get you to Jokic. Number 3, Scottie Pippen Jr. yet again. Delano Banton, who I don't even know why he shouldn't really come up here. He's not even been that good this year compared to what he was in the past, where he was like a fantasy point per minute microwave. Now he's literally putting up 1 fantasy point per minute. Ryan Dunn, Obi Toppin, Nick Richards, Luka Doncic, Justin Champagnie, and Nikola Jokic here. And for the record, that is the Washington Champagnie, not the other Champagnie. We got Tyus Jones at number 4 with Gary Payton. Shitty value, but he's there. Jarris Walker, Ryan Dunn, Nikola Jokic, Scottie Pippen Jr., Kevin Herter, Luka Doncic. So again, shitty guys to get to the star is sort of the theme of these lineups here, but you're getting 2 of them in this case, with Nikola Jokic and Luka making the lineup. And at number 5, Tyrese Halliburton, who is a big winner for Siakam being out, as I mentioned earlier. The fact that he averages 1.3 fantasy points per minute. I hate Halliburton, but today is a day to take some shots. Austin Reeves, Kevin Herter, Denny Avdia yet again. Donovan Clingan makes 1, Scottie Pippen yet again, Justin Champagnie yet again, Tyus Jones yet again. So really pronounced commonalities in those lineups, guys, if you want to try to figure out how to start to build. Definitely not reading that one. Not reading that one. I don't think we should compare AIDS. Though you know what? AIDS is a killer, and I think American Horror Story did a similar thing where there was like a killer personified, like AIDS personified as like some like leather daddy killing people. So it's been done, but I guess you know what? Maybe I should have read it out loud. I should have read it out loud. I don't even go on Twitter. You're not missing much. Though I might have to at some point because I think I have to start promoting more on Twitter to get better ad deals. So that's my hell. We got your top ROI players according to Stokastic data. Nikola Jokic, negative 1% ROI. Don't worry that it's a negative number. Focus on the directional accuracy of these guys who do appear to be earning the most money across the top 150 lineups for Stokastic. Jokic, number 1. Nick Richards, number 2. Jarris Walker, number 3. I am surprised to see him coming up this much, but he will get more minutes, theoretically, with Siakam being out. Obi Toppin at number 4. Man, so they want you to get the pivot to Toppin, basically, I think. I think it's how they're viewing Jarris Walker. I just feel like there's a guarantee Jarris Walker gets meaningful minutes. Ryan Dunn is at number 5 here, negative 5.6% ROI for him. Halliburton at number 6. I think that looks good. Again, he really does produce the best, and I think people won't pick up on that. Court time without Siakam. We got Denny Avdia. He's your last guy here at number 7 with a negative 7% ROI. So your top 7 ROI guys: Jokic, Richards, Jarris Walker in Indiana, Obi Toppin, Ryan Dunn, Tyrese Halliburton, and Denny Avdia. Your top exposed guys: Scottie Pippen Jr. coming in the most, 52% for him. Denny Avdia, number 2, 51%. So you're getting about 15 to 20% leverage on the field with both these guys in Stokastic's top 150 lineups. Trey Jones, 46% exposure compared to the field's 29, so a big stand on him. He's had a really big ceiling lately. Still does feel like Kobe White's the much better player, though. But obviously the price points are where they are. Obi Toppin, 43% exposure compared to the field's 22.5, so pretty big leverage stand on Toppin, even though it does feel like Stokastic's also trying to find you ways to work around him a little bit. Luka Doncic, 43% compared to 35, so pro Luka Doncic stand. Tyus Jones, 41% compared to 30, and Kevin Huerter, 39% compared to 33. Your top leverage plays: Nikola Jokic, 25 or 26% more than the field. Field's barely going to play him. They wanted to get him a third of your top 150 lineups. Obi Toppin, again, we talked about him already. He's at number 2. Scottie Pippen at number 3. You're getting almost 2x the field on him, but half your lineups would have him if you use Stokastic data. Denny Avdia, also in about half the top 150 lineups. Trey Jones at 46% of them, about 17% leverage. Nick Richards getting 3x the field on him, 16% leverage. I was getting them too. I don't really love it, but Toronto missing shots, I guess, is it. He's not guaranteed to play enough minutes, which I don't love about Nick Richards. But you know, he's there. He probably won't close in most games either, which sucks for him. And we got Ryan Dunn, 12% leverage for him. So 2x the field on Ryan Dunn. They are liking him more than Tyus Jones, it seems like. Your most negative leverage guys: we got Kobe White, 20% less than the field. That won't be the case for me today. He's been your big winner. I would say if you're not playing Kobe White, you should be boosting Trey Jones. Should definitely be boosting Vucevic, because Vucevic kind of possessing the ball more takes it away from a gunner guy like Kobe White. I would still probably play Kobe White, though, personally. Stephon Castle, negative 14% leverage. Stochastic basically doesn't want you to play him. Cade Cunningham, negative 8% leverage. So under the field's 22% expected ownership, but still getting 15%. Tobias Harris, you're getting about a quarter of the ownership. Anthony Simons, you're getting about an eighth of the ownership, with him being barely played by the field. Scoot Henderson also barely being played here. Shaedon Sharpe, they just don't want you to get Portland guys, despite the soft matchup versus Washington. And I get it. I think these guys are more than appropriately priced for a matchup versus Washington, so it is what it is. Guys, I have seen Old Boy. I have not seen Sisu. Okay, well, seems fun. Yes, please leave your killer, your serial killing good guy movie recommendations down below. Jason, I hear, is one too. We're gonna give you guys my splash plays for the day, but last run through the plugs. First of all, please subscribe down below, hit the like button, leave a comment if you enjoy the content here. I do it every Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. for the NBA, and it's gonna be going on to the last day of the regular season. After that, I'm gonna try to figure out what I should be doing. Should I be going all MLB? I don't know, but there's gonna be a mix of NBA and MLB coming up on this channel no matter what. So please subscribe down below, hit the like button, leave a comment, and of course, I am here every day doing the work as best I can, trying to make myself correct as much as possible. Unabated, 20% off. Again, you want great data that doesn't involve me at all, doesn't involve the genius of the money hat. Please feel free to check out Unabated. Use their great data where professional bettors are winning tons of money. And you yourself, if you place $100 bets following all their bets with 5% or higher ROIs, you can win up 50 grand if you've just done it all the entire season. And granted, that's doing work, but that's what this whole thing is. You want to make money in betting, you got to do a lot of volume, you got to do the work. Unabated makes it easier for you. So check it out, 20% off. Link down below for Unabated. And of course, Stokastic, 15% off. They don't have any promos going that I'm aware of. And even if they do, this one is for life, where if you're a member here, just takes 15% off every month, basically. And then half the money you give to Stokastic goes to me. So we get to upset big corporations and give money to me. And what's a better combo? Anyway, splash plays for the day. I'm skeptical of Obi Toppin. That's why I gave the I don't know face in that. I still feel that way. I think that I have some concern about him, but it's hard for me to imagine not having him in half my lineups today. I think he starts, so that also kind of clouds things for me a little bit. If he doesn't start, I think trying to swap down on him makes sense. But assuming he starts, I think he's a strong play here, and I think the minutes would come up, and he probably becomes chalkier again. But he'll be in like at least a third of my lineups. I think no matter what, definitely more like 50% if he is confirmed to start. Scottie Pippen Jr. Him / Luke Kennard, I view the same way, but I think those guys are both splash plays. I would try to get Pippen in some lineups. Morant's out. We try to get Kennard in lineups without Pippen. That's sort of the way to try to handle that if you're doing it manually. Tyus Jones, I think, feels like a pretty good value play as well. Guys that are not value plays, I think Quentin Grimes is one I will take more shots on than the field will. His rates overall as being kind of the last sixer of note standing, a little bit too good. Trying to pay up to get to Jokic, I think also a thing that will occur a good amount for me, more than I will get Luka Doncic. And I'll throw Kobe White in the fire as well. Talents, I think you should get more than the field of, but that's a splash play. But I think that's my core for the most part. Kobe White will definitely be a part of the core here that I'm getting. So that's it for me today, guys. Again, gamble responsibly here. Where's that? Even though it is always money time, follow me at Chris Spags. Follow this channel at Splash Play NBA. And more to come tomorrow at 4 p.m., guys. And I will be on Stokastic in about half an hour. So I'll see you guys there. Enjoy your days. Good luck. And let's fucking pray for some normalcy to come in this slate. I'll see you guys again soon. And $5 tournament on DK today if you haven't gotten your entries in. So go do it. All right. Bye, guys.